Good morning, legends. We've got a little outdoor sesh today, which is going to be a bit of fun, and we've got 3 games to go through, fantasy and obviously Supercoach as well, and then I'm just going to pop through, and let's just discuss now how many players a lot of teams have left. So if you haven't checked out this site yet another fantasy stat site. Very much appreciate the fellow that's created this one. So if you'd like to donate, buy him a coffee, that would be awesome for providing these stats. It's really, really cool. But it does go through sort of the top 1,000 there. It just gives you a little bit of an idea of where teams are at and obviously what type of players they've been bringing in. So these are the trade-ins. Crichton 381 out of the top 1,000 this week, grabbed him. So that really adds to his numbers there. Iro at 325. Yeah, Chevy Stewart with his low one. Corey Waddell at 174 and Sean Bloor at 155 with obviously a few others there that did and didn't score too well. But and then it shows you the trade outs as well. The big thing here is how many players you have left. So if you're sitting in around the 5 mark, I think you'll either sort of hold rank or probably about the hold rank stage is 5 players. 6 players, you're making plenty of gains there. 7 players, you're absolutely crushing, and then 8, 9 onwards. And obviously, if you have a captain as well in that 6 or 7, I think you're going to make plenty. And I know my team has, I think, 7 players left with captain, so I'll hopefully be making a good amount of ranks there. Given I think I've more than doubled on the wrong side, that's for sure. And it shows you the captaincy percentages as well. So some really good ones in there with Johnson, with Carrigan. Obviously got Ponga to come, but tough one with Fogarty last night. We'll get into that very, very shortly. Isaiah Yeo, for those who captained him, amazing work on that front, given he got 75 in this one. And Panthers kind of grinded their way to a win here. And Tigers were in it for a good portion of this game, and then fell away a little bit. And defensively on their left-hand side, they had a few issues there with Sunya Taruva going over for a couple of tries in that first sort of 20-odd minutes there, which put a bit of a knife into the Tigers' chances of winning, just with some easy tries on that side. But Isaiah, we know what he can do, and it's just another one of those games where sometimes it was a 50-odd before that bye, into a 75 here with a try assist as well on the inside to James Fisher-Harris. So that was very, very amazing work from him, and a cracking score. Speaking about cracking scores, we had John Bateman actually move out to the centres for this second half, and he was on 30 at halftime or about that. And then it went all the way up to 71 in that second stanza. With okay tackle numbers from where he was at. Obviously made a bunch in the first half, a few in that second, but line breaks, try assist. He looked like he was back to some of his best work, and he obviously wanted to come out and have a good game against the best team in the competition in the Panthers there. So Bateman becomes a little bit more of an option. Just remember, guys, with the Tigers, they only have in the next 20 or close to 20 weeks, they only have 1 bye, and that's in round 13. So if you have enough players for round 13, or you think you will, and you'd like one of these Tigers guys, you can either get on them now, or you can wait until round 14 and jump on them. As you do see here, a lot of the more important players in this game, fantasy-wise, did end up scoring really well. And that was the case with Bateman, and you see Papali'i with his 61 as well in the 80 minutes there. And his was off the back of, obviously, some tackle breaks as well. Siri's trying to listen to me, apparently. Off the back of 47 tackles, 6 misses there, but 6 tackle breaks, a couple of turnovers as well. Worked out really well for him and his scoring on that front. But obviously that means that there was a fair bit of traffic on each edge, and we know that if you play against the Panthers, you're going to be making lots of tackles through the middle / the edge section against them. Seems to, you get plenty of work, given that's where they put a lot of their traffic set to set. They'll spread it left, but then cut one back through the middle come back through the edge there, where Papali'i is going to be defending. So they haven't been scoring as well in recent weeks, and it might be worth waiting one more week, especially on a Bateman, just to see if he doesn't go back to where he was in the sort of the 40 mark, below 40 it was for him, and then Papali'i at 51. So you're not going to miss out too much on Isaiah on Papali'i, because he's already at that 50 mark where he's averaging right now. Sorensen, this was the big one for him. So he ended up getting the 80 minutes this week off the back of a couple of injuries. He brought into the preseason, into round 1 there. Then copped another leg injury, had a bunch of weeks out, and then first game back he gets 80 minutes. And I think he was closer to the 20 mark at halftime, and then bumped that up and picked up a try assist there with an offload in that second half, which worked out great for him. And he now gets firmly put on our potential buy list coming into this week and potentially the week after. They play around 13-14 as well and miss 16. So He's someone that I think you should keep on your radar as a mid-edge dual guy that could potentially do some good work, because he had a higher break even than what he scored. He'll still lose a bit of money. He'll be closer to 600. Him and Britton Nicker are in a similar boat there. Obviously with Nicker, we know he's going to play 80. Sorensen is like a week-to-week prospect. But in this one, he got the full 80 and got 54 points, which was awesome. Then you got Isaiah Tungle there with 51. He got a try assist as well. 30 tackles in this one. So as you can see there, the ball was in play a lot. There was a lot of tackles. Like if a center's getting 30 of them, then there's plenty of work down his side. So a good score from him. A bit of a bounce back after a cracking start to the season. Sunya with 50 as well. He had a great game there. He's done well this year, averaging 42. So good stuff there on the right-hand side. Absolutely loving it over there, the Brian To'o corner. Schneider, 48. If anyone who ended up grabbing him to start, like you've picked up a 48 average across the, 3 weeks, I think, that you've been able to have him, which is good. And, who knows if Cleary is actually going to be back next week either. Stefano, 44 for him in 44 minutes. So those minutes dropped, which was strange, because he actually, I'm thinking it may have been just to do with the rotation, because I can't remember who had to come off. There was a head knock, I believe, or it was when Junior Tupou came off, maybe, just before halftime. We'll check his minutes in a second. But Stefano came on like 3 minutes before halftime after having a first stint. I think he had a shorter first stint anyway, like a low 20s minutes, and then came back on then, and then obviously played another 20 odd minutes and then didn't come back on. So maybe that was to do with it, but still 44 points, which is good. You'll still be frustrated with it, obviously. But yeah, sometimes these, as we see with minutes rotations, Terrell May, you can end up in a tough spot sometimes. So yeah, that Sorensen offload ended up with a beautiful Paul Alamotti individual try. A cracking effort from him, and I was having a laugh during the game, especially before halftime there, where all of the outside backs were absolutely crushing it, and that left center spot just continues to get no ball. He had 50 run meters or something, 13 fantasy points, and then he obviously got that awesome try on the back end of that to do good things. Finu there, 44 for him. We do expect Taylor May to be back. I imagine it was just a 1 week thing, but we'll see what happens with them. With Alamotti, obviously. Finu there, 44. He does look like a beast, doesn't he? He's a very impressive player. Good points in this one, good minutes again. So not sure if that's going to keep up, but obviously he missed a couple of games. He's back now. And 44 for anyone who held his mid-edge duel. So that's great. You can't expect anything more from a 429 guy that's already made a little bit of cash. But if he continue to do that, it just seems like he's going to be up and down, 20 odd, 40 odd, 50, and go from there. Luai and Lindsay Smith, 40 odds. To'o, 40. Just another game where he's just going to continue to leak cash at the moment. He's with 40. It's either that, or he seems to just continue to hit 40 every week, and kind of hang, because he had that one massive game where he scored the double, and I think he's been holding on to that break even since. So that 40, I think, should drop him down a little bit more, but not much actually, because he's actually fairly cheap at 609 already. Scratch that. Bulla, 40. Had Twali, 35 as well. People looking at him, see minutes just all over the shop with this pack at the moment. So I think you can't go anywhere near him, obviously, because he's only averaging 40, where at least Stefano was in the 50s. Galvin at 35. Welcome back. It's against the Panthers, so what can we expect for him to still score 35 there? He was the big kicker in the side. Obviously, picked up 11 points in that compared to Caesar with 9. So they split that, but Galvin having more, especially early on in the game. Great news for him and his base stats scoring. And I think he missed his second tackle for the year. Sad times. One in this game with an offload, a tackle break, a little bit of running, and he's trying his best. But against Panthers, they kind of suffocate you as a half. And so that wasn't great there on that front. But he's fine. He's a hold. Coruscant, 34. Now he's the worry. This was obviously a week where if you're holding him against the Panthers, you weren't going to expect the world, given he is the guy that misses tackles. But he's playing the full 80. He just doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't look in it as much. Since that first couple of games, it looked like he was going to score on every play. And since then, he hasn't looked like it at all. There's obviously some talk of him carrying that niggle, and maybe that's still the case coming into these weeks here. But hopefully, if you do hold again, you have a much better matchup in the next few, and he can get some good scores for you, because I understand people selling him as well. But who are you selling him to in the hooking position? It's an absolute wasteland right now. You could go up to Grant, but even he's scoring below what we want from him as well. And happy for the year, if you started with him, he's averaging 48, whereas Grant's at 53 at the moment. So it's not a big upgrade overall. and they're going to have sort of their ups and downs, these hookers. So it's a tough one to use. I don't know if it's a wasted trade, but to use a trade on that position as an upgrade. Like I've got Lussick, who's not scoring great, and I think he's a clear hold, and he's at 130k below Appy. It's not a crazy difference. Caesar with 34, Pole, Kenny, Martin. Got the 54 minutes in this one. That was the big news here. Yeah, that's right. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Stefano came back on for Tupou. He was having a decent game in the attack side, but obviously missing some, being caught out of position. Not missing tackles, which is funny, but just not even getting a touch on him. Safe fast for 22, so back to a lower game for him in this one. Not super ideal. For anyone who, he didn't score a try, basically, is the news in this one. Liam Henry with 22 in 30 minutes. So, he played that little stint either side of half-time. Fisher Harris came in and absolutely crushed it. Obviously, he got that try as well. Where did he end up? 62 in 47 minutes. Yeah, I didn't end up speaking about him. Actually, I didn't even speak about Edwards. Sorry, I'll skip those two. Let's go back. Fish was 62 in 47 minutes, so he was great. Looks like he's back to some of his most damaging form. And then Dylan Edwards, guys, is 62 for him. End up getting the early shower in this one. I love to say early shower because it's funny because they just sit on the sideline. But that's always been the term. They never actually get the early shower. Anyway, there's your fun fact for the day. Silly phrases that we use. Dylan Edwards, 62. He had 3 goals, obviously. If Cleary doesn't come back again, he'll be kicking goals again. He actually was pretty good on that side of, off the boot there. A try assist in this one, 10 tackle breaks, 207 metres gained. Callum Ferguson is absolutely turning in his grave for every time that Dylan Edwards crushes it. Averaging 56 for the year. So if you jumped on this week or, a couple of weeks before the bye, you're absolutely loving it. So good stuff on him. Sorry, I missed them. Latu Fainu there, 12. Stainsy, 11. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Garner still got 26 minutes. He came on for Martin. Again, he might come on for Sorensen next week. So I'd like to see a few weeks with 80 in a row, to be fair, on that front. Let's go to Titans, Eagles in this one. So a few people would have had some plays in this one. And pretty much those that scored well, for the most part, they did end up with a try in this one. And that was Tanner Boyd, for those that still holding, end up with his best game of the season. So happy days on that front. He's a hold now, obviously, if he can keep that spot. Not sure what's going to happen. Brimson has to stay at 1, doesn't he? Seriously. He's very, very good there. And obviously this... there was no defense. Like, what's a defense was what I was saying last night. I don't know what that was. 34-30, and it was 34-30 with like 20 minutes to go. So it could have been anything. That's for sure. Olakau'atu, 56. I suppose if you're looking at this game, guys, the base stats are fairly low, apart from Gerbo there with 44 tackles for him, but 64 points. Unless you're in the attack, there's obviously going to be a bunch of missed tackles, a few tackle breaks and the like, but a lot of it was just like, standing behind the sticks, waiting. And so unless you're in the attacking stats, it wasn't great for you. Olakau'atu, the 56, you really would hope for a lot more in this one, but he ran for 56 metres, which is so low. But to have a try assist and a try in this one, that was awesome. A lovely pass there to, held that up nicely for Tommy to go over in that first try. And can't complain with that. Obviously, you'd like some more run meters and to be a bit better on that front, but it wasn't to be in this type of game. They didn't need to use him as much. But again, against the better teams, they use him a lot more to get some, to gain some good meters, which they didn't have to against the Titans. Fafita, 55 for him in that 57 minutes. So until he plays the 80, I don't think we can select him. But they keep doing the switcheroo at coming into the hour before kickoff time. Tommy, 52. He went down from 59, so that's frustrating for owners of him. 2 line breaks, 2 tries. Very, very simple tries at that, to be honest with you there. That second one was a big forward pass, but to be honest, Turbo, he has been a little bit unlucky on try scoring situations across this season so far. So to get one, that probably should have been the other way. Swings and roundabouts, eh? 52 for him. Happy, not ideal, not one tackle made. Good on you, Tommy. Even Jason Saab got a tackle. Tommy Turbo. How good. So that's it. 52 for him. He's been solid. He's averaging 50. He'll go up a little bit this week, which is good. But yeah, that's that. Gerbo, 51. Mofot. Welcome back to him. He was like 32 and 30 minutes and then came on and finished the game. Got 50 in this one. So he's someone that people should have on their radar as well. He's a bit cheaper than that of Jolliffe. But they both scored that 50, which is great. And Jamin playing 64 minutes. And if that's the case, he's a really, really good purchase coming into coming into next week as well. We've obviously got a couple of them now in that mid and edge that have done well this week. In Jolliffe, Waddell did well, also the 43, but Plathy and Blory all did good things, and then Mofot with the 50 as well to go along with Scotty Sorensen. So there's a bunch of guys, and we'll have a deep dive into them over the coming days. That's for sure when we get into buy, hold, risk, sell. But both good scores for them. Good minutes on that front, and Mofot with the better PPM. So it's hard to judge him too much off this one because his PPM for the previous games has been very, very poor. So that's that. Jolliffe, we spoke about the minutes, is a big winner for him, so he's going to be great going forward, in my opinion. Lower tackle numbers in this than last week, obviously, but they are a team that it's very hard for them to have very close games, to be honest. Kelly Lodge, welcome back for him. He's 465, a 44, gets his price moving and his break even lower. But he looked good in that time. We know when he played for Manly just before he got injured there, he was doing great work and scoring really, really well. They do have a few other forwards that are doing good things for him, but he's going to be important, I think, for them. Sabi with a try and a try assist. Corey Waddell, 43 for him. And ended up pretty good. He obviously had 3 penalties in this one, which is frustrating, but that was offset by his 2 turnover tackles, and he only missed 2 tackles. So that was a much better game for him on that front. Obviously, the base stats in general a little bit down, but he got into his work, and he had one of the higher tackle counts, obviously with Gerbo, and then we know Burfamore, when he gets through 80 minutes, he makes good tackles, and he had 35 in that one. So the third highest tackle count in this game was Corey Waddell, so that's great news, and a 43 at 425 is a cracking effort. So well done to buyers of him. You needed him to hit. I said, what we're saying, he's a 42 average over 60 minutes, and he got the full 80. Even with Dean Madison on the bench as well, I was a little bit worried about that, but he got the 43 in that 80 minutes, and no attacking stats, so that will come, and he won't have 3 penalties every game either. Bullymore scored a try, so that was good. Both for more 42, still up on where he was at, but base stats in this game aren't going to be great. Would have been nice if whoever it was that went through, Camperera? Can't remember. Kelly maybe went through, and then Bowie was working hard on the inside, and they just went out to the winger. Like, come on, reward your big forward that's coming through. Paseka, 39, Brimson 38. So he had a solid game overall. But 135 metres, you want that to be higher. And that's kind of his knock, is that sometimes it's not. But a lovely try through the middle there. Kohler, runaway try. So, take that with what you will. It's 20 points almost for him in that one play. Camperera double. Croker, Clarkey, 31 of 37 minutes. It was a bit of not the best buy at this stage. But still 31. He had a break even a little bit under that, I believe. So, that'll be fine. For this week, Foran, he did pick up 3 try assists, but obviously in this one with Tanner Boyd coming back, he wasn't able to get all the kick meters. And once you kind of heard the news that Sammy was going to be out and Brimson was going back to 1, that was the alarm bells to jump off Foran. But still with 31, thank goodness he got the 3 try assists. He looked great, and he'll still make some decent money off that. But longer term, unless Tanner gets dropped again, I'm not sure if he will after that performance, which was decent for him. They still lost though, so maybe he does. But frustrating. Talk about frustrating. DCE, 27? What's going on there? He didn't even look like he was involved in the first half, to be honest with you. It was just giving the ball to Tommy, giving the ball to the outside backs, and there was heaps of tries going around, and 27 for him, absolutely shocking. Unfortunately, for those that jumped on, he went bang, bang the last 2 weeks, and obviously when Garrett goes down is when he scores all these points, apparently. So there you go. That's that on DCE. Holding, obviously, but not great. And then Ruben Garrick, 23 for him in 80 minutes. Yes, good tackle numbers, but ran for 50 metres and just kicked goals only with 5 of them. That sucks. And then Lukey Brooks there as well. So Smith Shields, people were asking about him the back end of last week. It's just on and off just scoring for him. So 20 is not good. And then you've got Randall had a low one at 27 as well. Luke Brooks was 17, so he's a must sell, guys. He just hasn't scored anywhere near what you would have hoped after having a really good start to the year. He's kind of fell off a little bit. And then Cleese Haas got 34 minutes for 11, so that sucks for owners of him. I think he's done his dash. He's been a really good servant for your side, but they've got a lot of guys that can play big minutes now. You've got Fafita, you've got Burfamore on the edges, and then you've got you guys through the middle in Jolliffe and Mo Fodawaker and the like there. So Haas is done, I think. Talau with 14, Lawton 15. Yeah, that's it for that game there. All done. All through. And then the Broncos, man, this was a tough game for the holders of Raiders, and obviously Fogarty captainers was the big death in this game. It's at 20, and it looks like he's ruptured his bicep, and there's a couple of options there. Apparently it's either a 3 to 6 month recovery if he's done the most common injury there, and most likely, unlikely, but best scenario would be 3 to 4 weeks, kind of a spell there to let that recover. So not ideal at all for Fogarty owners. He wasn't obviously doing great in this game. The Broncos got out to a 28-0 lead very, very quickly off the back of Reece Walsh and Carrigan just absolutely destroying teams when they're on. But Carrigan to go 69 in 65 minutes, he is a freak. He's getting better and better in my opinion. And obviously, the role that he plays when Payne Haas is out, that run meters that he gets, if there's no one kind of running onto the ball, he goes, nah, I'm taking this one. And that one where he's had like 3 guys on him and he held on to one, and then he kind of spun a little bit and was able to get away and get good run meters and like 3 or 4 tackle breaks there. Just put the nail in the coffin of an absolutely terrific game for him and his captainers. So congrats to that, and congrats to my girlfriend who has Reece Walsh and Carrigan. I think she's beating me by about 260 at the moment, having Carrigan as captain. I've got Heinze to come though. It's a Heinze 100 kind of day in my opinion. But that was great for Carrigan. Awesome work. Reece Walsh, 73. He's so fast, man. It's crazy. Like, last week was an anomaly. He did not look himself at all. And then this week he was back because he was kicking in general play, 224. And this one has a really big boot at that, as well. 199 on the run meters. He lost a point there, unfortunately. 6 tackle breaks. Did have 3 errors, but like he's moving so fast and so much is happening. You can understand why he does make an error on those sweeps sometimes because he's not sure he's moving that fast. It's hard to make that decision in real time to make the pass or to run. And he got through and made the break on the one before and should have had a try assist back on the inside. And he was not happy with Jaden Hunt, that's for sure. I think he was trying to pass it to Jock Madden was what the fang that pass left to right on. But 73 for him, a massive bounce back after 2 low scores, obviously with the facial fracture into the 31 last week. So a big bounce back for him, which is good. Ricky with a try, 55. He's back to some of his good scoring, but don't fall for that. We saw what happened after round 1. Cobbo with 53. Just another lovely score, averaging 47 for the season, and will go up another good chunk of cash after his back-to-back 50s. Fletcher Baker got 48 minutes, so with a try assist as well, I wonder if he played himself into this team like longer term, because that 32 tackles for no misses, 94 run meters with an offload, and obviously the try assist, much better game from him in this one. So you can see here, guys, it's all Broncos to kick things off at the start of this part of the video. Tarpanay 50, so still good minutes for him, 56. He's crushing it on that front in recent history, and PPM's been decent. It was good enough again in this one for 50, and then Papali'i with a nice 47 with a try assist as well. Ezra with 47 for him was decent. I think Taps, guys, I think if you didn't grab him either last week or this week, has a bye coming up in round 10 and obviously 14 as well. I think it's tough to jump on now. I think around 15 could be really good for someone like him. Jock Madden, good score for him. A couple of try assists as well was nice. Ezra Mann, if you're holding on to him, it's worked out well in this game. 3 try assists and a try for a nice 47. But yeah, just shows if other people had 3 try assists and a try, it's 60s plus. Hudson Young, no try in this one for 40. Timoko, a good run off the intercept for 40 for him. Jensen, 40. I think you're still kind of holding with him. Seb Chris, this is why you don't sell him. He's really, really solid in the centres. Picked up good base stats there. 17 tackles, 163 metres. And a try assist. Xavier Savage with 40 with a try. Mariota, if you end up grabbing him, he came off the bench and still played 59 minutes. So congrats to him on that one. Interesting that that was the play, and they gave a big rest to, obviously, Morgan Smithies in this one with 48 minutes. So that was a strange situation. Maybe they just thought because they were pumped, they were like getting beat. I don't know. Or they were happy with what he was getting out of Mariota. But for him to play 11 more minutes than Smithies in this one when they needed to shore things up, to be fair, they scored all their points with Smithies on anyway. So, yeah, who knows on that one. Simi Sasangi and Mariota both played big minutes in this one. So, Mariota, if you grabbed him, 40, awesome. Good stuff. Willison, same thing, 38 and 46 minutes. Very happy with the minutes there. No attacking stats there outside the 1 tackle break. But good run meters. Like, he's getting into his work, that's for sure. Him and Baker obviously got the extras with Carrigan playing 15 less as well. which was good for them. And Hetherington played the less minutes in this one with 34. So yeah, Wilson, you're happy with that. If you played him, good stuff. 38. She'll end up with 38 as well. So he had a good long run. Obviously there, picked up a line break in that one with 2 turnover tackles. Helped him out. If you grabbed him, you did it without much attack in this one. Ethan Strange with 35, so that, got a lovely bump overnight. I'm not sure what was going on there, but he went from 24 to 35 in the update. So that helped, and for him to get 35 in this game is an absolute godsend, and he'll continue to make money, and he just continue to be a playable option each and every week. Smithies, obviously, that's, as I said, that trade's been haunting me, and this one, it didn't haunt me as much, but I'm heavily invested in him in Supercoach, so, and playing him, so I was kind of, I'm wanting him to play the full 80 now. As much as it annoys my fantasy team, I'm happy for it in the Supercoach side of things. But yeah, 33 for him, 48 minutes. Hopefully that goes back to bigger minutes next week, and maybe a game that suits him a little bit more. Maybe the lateral speed was the thing they wanted in this one with Mariota or something like that. That could be an option. Arthur's 33 in this one. You had, yes, if you hold on, it's not the worst. Levi, 30, so he ended up getting a bump as well, 6 points, which was good. He played the 76, I think, because Fogarty ended up being out in this one. They still only played Starling 14, so they're he's very happy to play Levi big minutes, and I'm not sure why Starling didn't come on for a bit of extra help in and around the ruck there, or potentially even in that half position in some way. But Levi's still 30. I think he beat his break even or close to it, so he's an easy hold if you have him. I might have to, given I'll likely have to sell Fogarty in this one with his 20. Frustrating at that. Hunt with 26, not good. Fogs with 20, it looks like he's probably a sell, guys. He obviously had a forced dropout in this one. A couple of missed tackles, not really much happening for him. And then, reels out of a tackle just at halftime, unfortunately, and he was clutching his arm. Looks like, right in the bicep, which doesn't sound like a fun injury at all. Stewart with the great 5 up to 10 update overnight. He ended up kicking a goal as well, but four errors for him. They had 5 overnight, so drop one of them down, which is good. 3 missed tackles, no tackles made, 3 missed tackles. That's tough. That's when you know you're getting pumped by the other team. 93 metres, just wasn't his game. Obviously, he was getting smashed and coming back out of his own end. And this was one of those ones that coming up against this type of team is when you're a little bit worried about scores, obviously, and lesser teams in following weeks could definitely do better. But this was the worry we saw in the trials that's up against the men. First grade anyway, it can be a little bit harder, and he didn't score very well in those trials, and that was the worry coming into this, and we saw that in this one. I don't think it'll happen every game, no chance. Probably more in the 20 to 40 category on a regular basis, but this one obviously wasn't great for him there. All right, let's finish it off with the Supercoach stats there. So Edwards with 87, another good game. Isaiah Yeo with that try assist helped out, with Fisher Harris as well. Al Lamonti, keep an eye out on him if he keeps the spot over Taylor. Sorensen we're not looking at yet. Brian To'o, he's going to go down massive now after this one. He kind of has held price because of the massive score he had of 124 in round 3. You have that in between all 40s at his price, and he still manages to stay. And he has a massive break even now, and I think he goes down 60k at least. So keep an eye out on To'o for sure. But Taruva's getting all the work there. Henry with 28 in this one. If you held on to him, that's fine. Just keep holding and don't play him. Bateman and Papali, the big talking points obviously on the Tiger side, like we said. So that was good for them. Keep an eye out on them. You had Fainu, if you're holding him, sweet. Utokamanu with 41, not great. Obviously, they're coming off the back of some really good scores. So it's not the worst in the world, but if you bought him this week, you're unhappy. And then Caesar 30, I think he's a sell at this point, guys, if you still have him in one of those half or 5/8 position. Galvin, if you didn't play him, it's not the worst. 35, he goes up some cash. And then Coruscant 35. Again, a pretty average score. I'm not super happy with it. But against the Panthers, hopefully you can get some attacking stats against some of the slightly weaker sides for sure. Over the next bunch of weeks, they have a couple of tough ones, I think. They might be Broncos next week. I can't remember exactly. Let's chuck it on. No. We'll get to it in next week's stuff. So that's that. Titans up against the Eagles. Fafita still scored great even with lower minutes. You had Brimson with 67, so keep an eye on him if he does stay at fullback. Tanner, Foran, both solid scores for them. Jolliffe with 54. I think he might update a little bit. And then both of them are 54, so he's in my squad for the overall team. Both decent for them, which was nice. On the other side, Tommy, 87. Yeah, he scored a try in the first couple of minutes. Got to 38 very quickly. Got a second try at halftime. He was 74. I ended up taking the captaincy off him in my classic team, in my overall team, sorry. And I was a little bit frustrated at halftime because I was like, oh, the rain's about. And then there was no defense in this game. He was going through untouched, basically. So 87. As an owner, happy enough with it. As a non-captainer, also happy enough with it. So it ended up fine. Olakuatu in my head-to-head team here was great with 83. Good stuff on that front. Very happy with that trade in a month ago. And Corey Waddell, 44 if you grabbed him. Not the worst, but again, no updates in this game. All the other games have updated, so go in and check those out. Across the weekend, Luke Brooks, 38. DCE 45, both average scores. And then Garrick, he's going to go down a truck of points. So, of value, sorry. So he's definitely one to look at over the next few weeks. People even jumped on this week, or I think we're close to it. So he's going to go, I think he has 160 break even or something. And he's at 690. So I was talking about him as a potential buy over the next few weeks, and just becomes even better. Like, you got the one last game into the 30 or this game. He's got Para, which could be bad next week for them, into Canberra, who are in a bit of strife as well. So, and then Dolphins, who came out with a good game, to be fair. But yeah, that's where you're at with Garrick. He's definitely going to be a buy over the next few weeks with those low scores. And then the final one, obviously, Reece Walsh with 112. Massive score from him. Awesome work for anyone who bought. Ezra Mam, 98. Carrigan, 75. So very, very nice scores for them. In terms of, Jensen got 55. He's been a nice hold for anyone who does have him. Willison, I bought him in my team for 45. Could be updates in there, but solid score at that. He'll make some good coin and no injury, which means I can play him next week, which is lovely. And then, that's probably it on that side. And then on the Raiders, it wasn't great because, playing Smithies, playing Ethan Strange. He might get a little bit of an update, Strangey. But 26 for him, 37 for Smithies, 31 for Schiller if you had to play him. Not great. Levi, 24, Fogarty, 13, Stewart, 14. Yuck, and yuck. It's really just Tarpanini with 59. Sasungi, obviously, the 77, but no one has him, I don't think. Xavier Savage and Seb Chris, the other kind of potential options, with Timoko at 51. All okay, but the rest, very much yuck. You're holding Smithies, you're holding Strange, you're potentially selling Schiller to use his cash, but we'll see what happens if he even makes a squad next week. But he's made plenty. He's going to go with that 31. He's still going to go up another, I don't know, it's closer to 80k or 90k or something like that. He'll be 460, 470 and an easy trade target. So there you go, guys. That's the video coming into the end of Saturday round 7. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to watch those games today. Got plenty of players. Hopefully they all go well, and hope for your sakes they go well also. Happy Nico Hines captain day.